do my best. Oh, God, I can't even think of the guy's name. You'll know who he is from Vegas. And he's got a really bad facelift. And he sings Mandy. When you were talking about Gary, I made him a song. He says, oh, Andrew, well, you talked and remind me of Gary. And it's freaking me out, oh, Andrew. Well, you walked and it's so much, it's just scary. But I sent you away. Oh, God. I did not have a power out for that. Oh, Gary.
TBTL.
Yes, money has been a little bit tight lately, but at the end of my life, when I'm sitting on my yacht, am I going to be thinking about how much money I have? No, I'm going to be thinking about how many friends I have, and my children, and my comedy albums. I mean, I have a yacht, so I obviously did pretty well money-wise.
I swear, every time this guy talks, all I hear is a turkey gobbling.
Do I look like I know what a JPEG is? I just want a picture of a goddamn hot dog.
What are you saying? I can't have your product because I don't have the right number of money?
I believe it was Benjamin Franklin who said, you have reached the end of your free trial membership at BenjaminFranklinQuotes.com.
What a wise man.
What's on the agenda, my friend?
Well, hello, good morning, and welcome everyone to a Thursday edition of TBTL, the show that just might be too beautiful to live.
The vibes will be the illest, and the jams, ridiculous.
My name is Luke Burbank. I'm your host.
I'm so excited about this show.
Coming to you from the Madrona Hill studio, perched high above the mighty Columbia. It is day 4 of a TBTL-a-Thon 15. Thank you for being a 10, and we are coming to you live worldwide via YouTube.
So if you don't like swearing or angry people from Wisconsin, then turn your mother effing camera off now.
We, of course, have so much to get to today on the show. Things have been piling up this week. We've had some really fun shows and some really great Zooms with everyone. Great time last night crafting our pants with the crafty tens of listeners. But we have a lot of content that we want to get to today as we arrive at episode 4,247 in a collector's series.
Let the fun begin.
But amidst all that, we're also taking your phone calls at 206-414-TBTL, 206-414-8285.
Ahoy, ahoy.
And we're also going to be placing a phone call today to a very special guest. A special guest who you may have received an email from in your inbox today, and that would be my dear mother, the one, the only, Susie Burbank.
I say, what's up, dog?
And also, we have a big announcement, a big TBTL announcement today.
Attention, everybody, madams and Miss Waz.
Related to some upcoming stuff that we think people are going to be very excited about. So stick around for that. And also, it's a Thursday, a.k.a. Blur's Day.
My birthday today.
The Blur's Day train does not stop just because it is a TBTL-a-Thon week. And this guy never stops sorting bees. He was doing it in the hotel room last night.
Beads.
Bees?
Beads.
Beads?
He's the longest-running Cobra of the show, maybe best known for his A's, I's, O's, E's, and U's. He is Andrew Walsh, and he's joining me right now. Good morning.
Sometimes why?
Honestly, I'm kind of proud I could recite the vowels off the top of my head. There midway through that I thought, do I actually know all of the vowels?
How we keep lowering that bar for success.
Yes, indeed. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning. I'm sorry that I come to you today bracelet-less. I did sort some vowels last night, but I think I already told you this, Luke. I went back to my hotel yesterday with a big bag of bracelet-making materials and bees.
Mm-hmm.
I
think it's
beads.
Still unclear.
Beads. Sorry, beads.
Beads.
And I laid them all out, and I was ready to make more bracelets that say Friendo on them, and then I realized I left all the N's behind. I don't know where they are right now, and I had a choice. I could either make a bunch of bracelets that say Frito.
Or Fredo.
Fredo or Fredo.
Are you planning on selling me out?
Wonder what he's been up to lately.
I haven't heard much about old
Could use
Fredo.
some closure on that storyline. Anyway, so I just sorted beads instead and watched Superman 4.
I did not have the excuse of lack of access to the beads. I just hit some sort of wall, and it was interesting because that is my way of saying I did not really do much beading last night either, or even being. I was talking a really big game during the Zoom because we had all these tens that were joining us, and our friend Jen from the Making app was here, and we were talking crafts, and I was talking about how I'm getting so into doing these beads and these friendship bracelets, which I genuinely am. But then after all of that, we turned the cameras off, and then it was the first night where it was actually comfortable to be in the house, right?
You mean temperature-wise?
Temperature-wise. And I just kind of zoned out. And I'll be honest, looked at some TikTok, watched some of my lousy true crime television, and then I looked up and it was like 11 o'clock at night. I had accomplished nothing in the world of friendship bracelet making, and then I went to sleep. That was pretty much my night. So I want to apologize to you as a team that I didn't really help. I didn't pull our weight last night, but I guess none of us did. In fact, this guy over there, TBTL employee numero uno, was too busy refining his taco ordering strategy as he made his third trip to Taco Time.
I might have tacos when I go home. I'm not quite sure yet.
He is John Sklaroff, and he is also joining me right now. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, and sorry, yes, I also failed on bracelet making.
I think we're exhausted.
But
like we're there. Well, we decided we need to make about, 1,700 bracelets?
In total,
and we've made about 100.
Yeah, we're
125. We're closer to 200.
Are we? Okay,
good. Does that make us an eighth of the way there? Is that how math works?
Yeah,
an eighth of the way?
We'll finish it tonight, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll finish it tonight as I'm hosting an event at the Jefferson County Land Trust get-together in Port Townsend, Washington at Port Ludlow. I'll see some of you up there maybe.
Have you had any bead dreams yet? I have not had any.
No, but I've seen people in the comment section of the broadcast today saying that they had a bead dream. Let me see if I can scroll back here. Yeah, somebody said, here we go. I know Kendra said the other night I dreamt that I told Luke and Andrew they are very good broadcasters.
Oh.
We will always accept that kind of feedback.
Yes.
And I feel like somebody maybe
Freddy Krueger that my way anytime.
Here we go. Kathleen said, I had a dream about beads yesterday. I'm an accountant and hoping to get spreadsheet bracelet. I didn't get it, and the thon was still going, so I created separate donations for my mom, bro, and friends.
Do it. That sounds like
that's like the most accountant dream I've ever.
I love that.
Ever heard. And also, Kathleen, shout out to the spreadsheet heads out there. As soon as we get those H's, we're gonna start right in on that project.
That's right. Yeah.
Let's get to the big topic today, at least amongst a certain quarter of the tens, which is John Sklaroff's Taco Time strategy. Now, if this is the first show they're tuning into, like ever in TBTL history, wow, what a show to join us for.
Can I catch everybody up really quickly?
Please do.
Okay, so back in 2000. Okay, go ahead.
When a Luke and a Jen love each other very much, they have a Sean Dettori. So as you and Andrew were coming down from Seattle on Sunday, you rolled through a Taco Time, which is a kind of local chain of kind of fast food, but I would say it's slightly better than just fast food Mexican restaurants in the Northwest. I talk about it all the time. It is, though, the kind of regional thing that you have to really grow up with it to A, care about the topic, and B, have a strong opinion about what the right food to order is. And wherever you grew up, there's a version of this. What was the version of this in New York where you grew up, John? Like a regional kind of place where you had very strong thoughts about what the best stuff to order was.
You know, it's funny. I don't really think I had something in New York because my pizza's the New York thing. And it's like...
Well, what was the best pizza joint in your town?
Maria's Pizza.
Oh, of course.
I mean, because the slices were literally a foot long and they're just the best. So Maria's Pizza, shout out Yorktown. I know the Thailers and Shreboak should know that one. So...
yeah, I think Doug kayaked over there. Eat some yellow cedar.
Dan,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's a lot of D's, dude. Andrew, in growing up in Ohio, where was the spot? I know you guys didn't do drive-through much because of Bob's clean car policy.
I'm drawing a blank as far as regional kind of experiences are concerned. You know,
because you guys were you like a kind of an Applebee's type of family? Like where did you when you went out to eat? Where did you go?
Well, when we grew up in the country, there weren't a lot of options. We'd go over to. we would go over to Brunswick, Ohio, and there was just a family restaurant. Oh man, there's a family restaurant called Denny's. It's not the Denny's, the chain. It was just like it was so. I think.
Did you go to Lou Burger's burger place called Burger King, unrelated to the national chain?
Exactly. There was this guy named Danny McDonald who had a fast food restaurant called.
That's so funny. There was a Denny's that was not related to the chain.
Yes, and I can't go into the whole detail of the story. Although
they had a famous dish called Moons Over Orlando.
This is just a story in and of itself, but I can't help myself from telling it. It was just like a family restaurant. I don't think it was a regional thing. It's just someplace. I think it was in Brunswick, and my family would go there almost every Friday, or we were on some sort of regular schedule there, and I was little. And then one day, and I did not understand what was happening at the time. I had to kind of hear about it later. I understood that there was drama happening around and that we left before our food came out. We left Denny's early as a family. And what was happening was there was some sort of a comedy show going on, and it got bawdy.
At the Denny's, but not the Denny's you're thinking of.
Yes, not the Denny's the audience is thinking
that's
of.
The
Denny's I'm thinking
I'm addressing
of.
the audience by way of our Logitech
exactly.
two-shot.
And all I remember is, and I'm trying to think of how much detail I want to go in here, there was somebody who was doing some sort of comedy. I wasn't paying that much attention. I was probably just tying my straw wrappers together or something. But I guess this guy was wearing an apron, and he pulled something out of his apron that was phallic in nature, and that was the joke. And my parents, my dad, I think especially, were very protective of us, and maybe even you would say maybe a bit prudish. I don't know, but they thought it was
just because you cry every time you disrobe doesn't mean that you were overly sheltered and have shame issues, Andrew.
Just because I now wear a chef's apron in the shower,
yes.
I don't think this really. I don't think
unrelated,
totally unrelated. But I just remember being a kid, knowing that something special was going on at Denny's, in the fact that there was some sort of performance going on. I'm not really paying that much attention, but I just remember my dad kind of angrily calling a server over, having some words with them, and then suddenly not understanding why we all had to get up and leave either mid-meal or before the food came out. And I'm a very small kid. And the funny thing is, I don't even think I noticed this joke. The act of pulling us out of dinner in this abrupt way shone such a bigger light to me. That almost traumatized me more. Then I'm talking to my sister, what happened? What's going on? And now it's lived very, and I don't think we ever went back to Denny's.
Wow, that was a terrible idea for them to book that comic.
It really
you lost a family of customers that used to go there on a pretty regular basis permanently over a bad joke.
Yeah. So I guess I give cookie jars about a week. Anyway,
so back to taco time.
I'm really far. I'm sorry about
that's
that
story.
That's
a great story.
So far
that's
away
actually
from
no.
What we're getting at here.
I love your story. It's a beautiful story. So when John and Andrew, although it was really more John than Andrew because Andrew went to Subway. When John texted me, I've gone to a taco time. I immediately had thoughts. He revealed to me and the audience on Monday that he had ordered. He had been recommended by a staffer there to order the classic chicken burrito, which is something I had never even heard of on the menu, which raises the question of how classic it could be. And then also some habanero thing. And habanero, I'm sure that, the people of the world have been cultivating habanero peppers for some amount of time. In the context of taco time, that feels very new to me. That feels part of this kind of the spicification of everything in America. I'm telling you, the 80s was a different time. Andrew's family was burning books and censoring comics. My family was using the entertainment book to go to Burger Master. Nobody was eating habanero. As far as the people that I grew up around, it was not a big part of the restaurant culture. So my point is I had very, very strong feelings about your ordering on Monday, John. Then you went back on, was it Tuesday or Monday?
It's all blur all the time.
So then you went back again. You freelanced though, and what did you order the second time through?
Under some guidance from a friend of ours, from a former colleague at APM, Annie. Thank you very much for reaching out. I got 2 crisp tacos, and I did 1 chicken, 1 beef, and then I got the tater. Okay, I have so many opinions on taco time.
But let's just. I want to. I don't want to. I don't want to mess up the chain of events here because the second time you ordered what we would just consider a hard shell taco, the classic thing that we've all had, which I've also never ordered at Taco Time.
Right, which they call a crisp taco, but it's
which is
just
misleading.
Hard shell taco.
They have names for everything over there that doesn't make sense to me.
And so then last night, I believe you returned, and we actually have some audio of this. Andrew, you were surreptitiously, you were violating various wiretapping acts, and you were surreptitiously recording our colleague John Sklaroff. Again, without his knowledge, as he was ordering this Taco Time food. Can we hear that tape?
Yeah, that's all good. Can I do a 1 beef soft taco?
Okay, I like where this is going.
1 chicken crisp burrito.
I'd like to just jump in here and just say, John is reading this order off of his phone. he's behind the wheel of the Jeep, and he's got his phone in his hand, and he's very carefully reading this off of his phone.
Yeah, that's all good. Can I do a 1 beef soft taco? 1 chicken crisp burrito.
This is such a good order already.
An order of the rice, pinto beans, and black beans.
On the line. Do you hear the confusion in her voice because no one's ever ordered that before?
Well, we're getting. Well,
okay,
listen,
keep
I
going.
had so much confusion. Is that all? Are those 3 separate things, or is that like one thing?
Yeah, well, we can do rice and pinto beans, or we can do like rice.
Oh, okay. Let's do rice and pinto. And then I need a couple things of ranch and a couple things of hot sauce.
Very strong.
Like 2 of each?
Excellent.
Yeah, that should cover it.
There's 1473.
I would have liked to hear 3 ranches in that order, but 2 ranches that's a big improvement, by the way, because the advice that I gave you yesterday as you left the Madrona Hill studio was just when in doubt, put ranch on it at Taco Time.
Yeah.
That's really the best thing they sell. Everything, it's the ranch is the sun, and everything else in Taco Time orbits around it, in my opinion. And now that explains why it's not big on Andrew's list.
Yeah. That's why, I was thinking about this morning because Taco Time is in the news, which I'm sure you'll get to here in a moment, Luke. I'm not trying to step on that, but I'm reading this story in the paper about Taco Time, and of course we've been talking about Taco Time so much this week, and I realize I'm reading this article, and I still don't know what you think people are supposed to order. I knew that it was ranch-based, but it's amazing how you could talk about Taco Time for hours to me.
Talk and not
and
talk.
It's just so not relevant to my interests that I still don't know what the good order is.
Did you enjoy being looped in on my conversation with Camaro Kev last night? Because out of the blue, 7:25 p.m., this might have been almost exactly as you two were passing through the drive-thru. Camaro Kev texts you and I, Andrew, and says, just listen to the Taco Time legislation on Monday's show. And I almost wanted to drive off the Ship Canal Bridge. My response, all caps, infuriating. Camaro says, I really felt for you trying to explain it.
Okay. I just want to say, so this happened, it was an interesting sort of way this sort of came. So John had just gone through the Taco Time drive-thru, and then we went back to the hotel, and I dropped him off. I was like, I'm going to go find a pizza somewhere. I found this place. Some guy named Joe Domino has
Not the chain.
has a pizza joint called Domino's Pizza, and I was like, I might do that. I don't know. I just was like, I couldn't make up my mind in the car what I wanted. So I'm like, John, I'm dropping you off at the hotel, and I'm taking this Jeep. And so now I'm driving
I'm booting it in the
around.
ass.
I'm booting it in the ass. I'm driving around the greater Kelso area, and then I start getting these bleeps on the dashboard, right? And it's like, oh, Camaro Kev has just texted you and Luke. Okay, what is it? And it's that first message. Then, and I'm like, oh, I'm not really part of this. I always appreciate being included, generally speaking. It's a nice gesture. But I'm like, this isn't a conversation for me. I don't know Taco Time. I didn't grow up with it. And next thing I know is it's just a cascade of text messages coming in through the Jeep dashboard of you and Camaro Kev litigating this.
Yes. Camaro said, I really felt for you trying to explain it. I said, my guess is that it actually has been on the menu for a long time, but, quote, classic chicken burrito, question mark. New message, with rice, question mark. If someone ordered that in high school after a basketball game, we knew they were a narc. Response from Camaro Kev, no shit. And then follow up, I'm fairly certain it was not on the menu back in the day, and the child helping him at the counter doesn't know that.
Was that you or Kevin?
That was Kevin, and I emphasize that because that was, I think, absolutely spot on. So all that is the setup for the order that we all just heard, and that was, I believe, also a co-production with our friend Phyllis Fletcher.
What's your name?
Yeah.
Fletch. Full name? Fletch F. Fletch.
Who was also sort of coaching you up on this, John.
So when I was reading the order from my phone, that was primarily P. Fletch's guidance, and also
you
I should
reading it
say,
off the phone for some reason just kills me. I love this. I love this level of specificity.
I should say also, after Andrew texted the video of me ordering to you and Phyllis Venmo'd me that $14.73, and I'm like, Phyllis, you are a dazzling donor. Please don't buy me dinner.
She wanted to buy you your first proper taco time.
Yeah. Okay, so the question
is, that's a good order for you.
I feel like that's a pretty strong order. Now, I want to say, hold on, let me just.
Sorry, I messed up.
No.
Drum
That's
roll.
you. It's actually I need to say one more thing on this topic before we hit the drum roll sound effect, which is, I think that was a really strong order. Now, you still may not have liked it, and if you didn't like it, that's totally okay too, because as I've said so many times on this topic, as we sort of started things today, I'm not even here to tell you that Taco Time is, objectively speaking, some great food. It's not going to show up on any Michelin list. It's not going to get any James Beard awards. It is just the thing that if you grew up eating it, you have a lot of thoughts about, but it's not, objectively speaking, something super duper great. So if you ordered this, what I think was a really good order, John, and you still didn't love it, that's totally okay. That is totally acceptable. But I do think that this is the best, in my opinion, this is the best sort of light that you're going to possibly see Taco Time in. So my question is,
do you have the long one?
what did you think of the food last night?
Of the food last night, I enjoyed it.
Hey!
But I have lots of thoughts. Can I give my 2-minute breakdown?
You absolutely can.
Looks like we're about out of time on this.
No,
topic.
I need to defend
Hold on, let me
myself.
cue that drum roll up again.
I need to defend myself.
Okay.
The question Monday was, John, do you know what a burrito is?
No. Hold on. Let me just, please. I think you know what a burrito is. I think Taco Time doesn't know what a burrito is.
And I don't think Taco Time knows what a taco is.
Wow. Shots fired.
Because the soft beef burrito taco I got last night, very tasty. Not a taco. It was completely wrapped and folded like a burrito.
But it was called a soft taco.
Yes. So they don't know what a taco is, and they don't know what a burrito is. That's why.
Well, here is the reason that I think. Yeah, I mean that's fair. I think their terminology is off. There's the problem. This was started by a bunch of white people who had only a minimal knowledge of, like, quote unquote Mexican cuisine.
The Time family, right?
Wait, I'm not following.
Taco Time.
My father is Mr. Time.
I'm doing that thing where I belabor a joke, Luke.
So yes, they have some naming problem.
And the burrito,
it's misleading.
The crisp burrito,
How
which was the best thing, especially in the ranch. That was the best thing. But the crisp burrito, and people have said this, Phyllis said this, I think Annie said this when she emailed me, and I've heard from others, it is like a taquito. It is not enclosed, so that's not a burrito. So Taco Time does not know what a taco is and what a burrito is.
It's sort of a deep fried missile
it's a
of
taquito.
flavor
It's delicious.
that it's open on each end, though. You're absolutely right. It looks like the cigar that Triumph, the insult comic dog, smokes. Imagine that filled with savory ground beef.
Yeah.
I see those like on the rollers at 7-Eleven sometimes.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Okay,
This
sure,
is, I would argue, a more well-executed version of that, but that's effectively what it is.
Yeah, so tasty, not a burrito.
Okay.
But so, and the other things I'll say about Taco Time real quick is their tater tots. I don't care what you tell me. They are tater tots, not fries. Delicious. I love a tater tot.
Yes.
But call it what it is.
Yes. Did you dip those in the ranch?
And the hot sauce, both.
Good. One of those tots, again, it's a tater tot in this Bizarro ranch dressing they make, but that's pretty tasty.
Actually, I lied. I just had that on hot sauce because I didn't get the ranch the other day when I got those. Now that
you didn't get those the second time?
No, because I wanted the rice and beans because I wanted to mix it up. I
just
wanted to try different things.
Yeah, see, I think part of my whole suspicion around the rice is I've never ever ordered the rice at Taco Time.
It was good rice and beans for like a rice and beans that come from a fast casual restaurant. It's good. The last thing I'll say is in their tacos, both the crisp, aka hard shell, and the soft shell. There's tomatoes in there, which are great, but they don't dice them up. There's just like a half of a tomato slice, like a crescent moon tomato slice, just shoved in the middle.
Yes.
So it's like you don't get it with every bite. It's just kind of there. It's a weird.
It is
I don't
weird.
understand the point of that.
I will agree with you that the tomato distribution in the hard shell taco is
and
odd.
soft. And it was in the soft too, and I got that last night.
I guess something about the tortilla holding it all together. It works better for me in the soft taco application than in the hard taco application, but that's just personal preference.
Yeah.
Let's now.
You mean the tortilla holding together because it's wrapped up like a burrito?
Well, sure. I mean, you come from the burrito capital of the world,
St. Paul,
Westchester, New York.
Yeah. Westchester via St. Paul via.
The only
Westchester.
place that has less burrito cred than Seattle is probably New York, not upstate New York, but outside of the city. Andrew, you were raising your hand.
I just
you may speak.
I'm
you have the floor.
Well, I'm running the risk here because I know that we have more taco time to talk about, and I don't want to get us too far afield of this. I'm also a little bit gun shy today. I really enjoyed the Zoom last night, but there are several times where I really took that Zoom conversation in places it didn't need to go yesterday, and that's living large in my head. So my apologies for those awkward moments. As I think I said on the Zoom, one thing I crafted last night was a bunch of awkward moments. But
I thought it was a really fun night.
It was a fun night. I just I feel bad. I think I put you in some uncomfortable positions at times. But having said all of that,
when I called you the show killer?
Yeah, that was one of the things that was. If you listen closely, there are little things that
That was me kidding too hard, and I apologize. I shouldn't feed into your natural tendency towards being mean to yourself.
I deserved it in that sense. I don't think you were in the wrong. But having said all of that, I am taking us a little bit afield here, and then we'll come back to taco time. But speaking of this idea of what they used to call Mexi fries, and now they're calling spicy fries or whatever.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're just tater tots, I had that. I think people from outside this region all have that realization at some time. I remember being in the back of your car. We're heading to the winery for a
it was
TBTL picnic.
Rudy in the way back, I believe.
And that might have been the same time, And it was the first time I'd ever gone to Taco Time, and it was the Wallingford location. You went through the drive-thru, and you're going to try Mexi fries for the first time, and I was really shocked to get them and say, well, these are tater tots.
Right.
I'm trying to think if I even asked you if they gave me the wrong thing, and they were very good, but I just was like, why have we not been calling them tater tots with like some seasoning on them the whole time? So all of that is to say, there is a commercial running right now. It is not for Taco Time. It's for the fast food restaurant Sonic. Do you know Sonic?
I do know Sonic. They are famous for having the good ice.
And the drive-thru.
Okay, yeah. And they had the kind of pebble ice.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm not really familiar with their food, but they have a campaign that is, I find it really, really irritating. I think the main spokesman for it is just kind of, he's putting on this character that I find to be a bit douchey, if you don't mind me saying. But there's this one commercial that features him and a woman, and it's almost like kind of like an Apple product launch type of thing, like the new iPhone newsy kind of, it's sort of TED conferencey or whatever. But it's him and this woman, and they're doing this presentation saying like there are two types of people in this world: those who like French fries and those who like tater tots. Neither one of you have seen this yet.
Is this the Live Free Eat Sonic campaign?
I reject that notion though, because I like them both.
Of course you do. I mean, they're both good. But so anyway, so that notion is ridiculous.
Chief Ingenuity Officer.
That's the guy.
Oh God.
It's such a bad commercial all the way around. But so even if you want to buy into that that premise that people want something in between a tater tot and a French fry, what they've come out with is something. First of all, they're calling groovy fries, which is a terrible name. And you guys want to know what a groovy fry is?
A tater tot.
I don't even want to know.
It's a crinkle cut French fry.
That
is not. First of all, it's not a groovy fry. But aside from that, call it what you want, I guess. But do you guys think there's any world in which a crinkle-cut French fry is the best of both a tater tot and a French fry? No. It's just a French fry that is slightly different than a French fry. It has none of the components of a tater tot. Genevieve and I have had this conversation a lot. Oh, this is a different terrible commercial.
Oh, really?
Campaign.
Is this the same guy? He pulls up in like a van, and he's going into a boring burger place.
Come with me if you want to live a more delicious life.
Is this the same dude?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we should get in the van.
So some family that's eating
in this world, we don't get to control much. The past,
Oh, interesting, Andrew.
Yeah, the bobbleheads.
It's a reference to my friend Peter Gross, who was one of the original two dudes. He and his buddy TJ Jagakowski used to do those ads where they would be sitting in a convertible talking about Sonic or whatever.
And they've sort of been they kind of phased
I wonder if they had to
those
pay
guys
Peter
out.
for that, for his likeness.
They kind of phased those guys out, and the campaign became other like kind of ordinary people, kind of sitting in the cars talking. Now, clearly, this is a new campaign, and they're paying homage to the old campaign by showing on the dashboard of this douchebag's van. Sorry, kids. Is two bobbleheads of those two comedians.
Right.
Can I give Sonic a free $1 billion idea here if they're listening? Because I've been in the position where I'm like, I want fries, but maybe a tot or two, and like getting the both.
Mix them up.
Yeah, just mix them up.
Yeah.
Just
Some
throw half
places
and half.
do that on accident. You
Yeah, I love that.
You ever get a rogue curly fry in your regular
it's-
fries? I mean, that is the sweetest berry.
A little French fry in with your onion rings
Oh,
when you're at Burger King.
love
I'm an
it.
onion
Come
ring
on
guy.
over here, you little refugee.
But I was gonna. I'll give you Harbor.
Yes.
Genevieve was saying like when she heard the setup for this, she was expecting them to be like sort of elongated tater tots. That would be weird, but at least that would actually serve the promise of being somewhere between a French fry and a tater tot. I'm just so irritated by that whole thing.
No, that's a bad product.
Well,
launch.
very quickly back to Taco Time,
Please.
just because it is in the news. And
It
Andrew,
is.
you brought this up last week. You heard about this on Reddit.
I broke this before the Seattle
The
Times
person
did.
who supposedly does not care about the Taco Time discourse is also the person who
TBTL breaking news.
who sent this to me and P. Fletch last week, which is that the Taco Time on 45th in Seattle, as I call it, Biodome Taco Time.
So weird. The building is so interesting.
It's a mirrored building. It even to this day looks futuristic to me, and it's been there. I mean, I remember when they built this thing, which is wild because it's now been there for, I don't know, 20, 30 years.
Yeah, it's in the 90s, I think.
It says in the article, when it was built. I remember when they built it, I thought, this is an it had its notorious reflective facade since 1990. This is an article in the Seattle Times written by Jackie Variano, Seattle Times food writer, about the fact that this particular Taco Time on 45th is going to be closing down. Now, these Taco Times are owned by different groups of people. There are some families that own like a large number of them. Then there are little individual ones that are owned by people, just individuals. Apparently someone named Kristen Hanna is the owner of this particular store and has let the staff know that because of rising food costs and also, I guess, lack of business post-COVID, that this location was just not profitable, which I find hard to believe because I think it's one of the most iconic Taco Times out there. So that's a real bummer, by the way. But to me, the biggest bummer is the last line in this article in the Seattle Times.
This is what I wanted to ask you about. Is it about the reference to a menu item?
It says, as for the Wallingford location, and again, I don't want to, cast stones at a fellow journalist, but Jackie writes, as for the Wallingford location, Vasquez, that's the manager of this location, says it will soon become a Chipotle outpost, which I don't know what that means. A Chipotle?
Are there not a lot of Chipotles in the PNW?
Is there some other version of
why outpost?
Is there a faster Chipotle like you get like a grab and go Chipotle outpost? Why wouldn't you say it's a Chipotle? But anyway, it's unclear at this time if the glass exterior will stay, but at least there will still be tacos. That's like saying, Dick's Drive-In is leaving and it's going to become a McDonald's, but they'll still have burgers. Like a taco, all tacos are not created equal. And if you want to have
some are burritos.
Some are called crisp burritos, and they're actually tacos with one tomato in them. Like, if you wanted to go get a Taco Time taco or a Taco Time product, it is not all the same that it's now going to be a Chipotle. So you're just going to be like, well, at least it still has tacos. Now, by the way, you might like Chipotle more. Maybe this is an upgrade for you. But to the real heads, my guess is Jackie did not grow up in the Pacific Northwest or did not grow up eating Taco Time, because to say that it's all the same, like, well, they still have tacos, it's like, that is such it's a deep misunderstanding of the culture of Taco Time, which is white people misnaming Mexican food.
It's funny because I love Chipotle, but even I would say, though, but if somebody were to say, what's your favorite burrito, I consider what Chipotle sells something kind of different than a traditional burrito, too. I know it's all the same ingredients, but it's like, I don't know, there's something not authentic about a Chipotle burrito, but I like it as a food. Mm-hmm. I was going to ask you about something else, though, Luke, because I wasn't sure, and now I think I've got a little bit more clarity after our conversation with John, but The graph right above that, so I guess the second to last graph, is for disappointed local Taco Time fans. There's another Gleaming Glass Taco Time still in business at 14th Street Northeast in Auburn, and several dozen additional locations strewn across Western Washington, presenting plenty of opportunities for crisp burritos and tater fries.
Whoa.
That was so crisp burritos. Like what that wasn't. I was wondering if you were going to disagree with the writer for saying like that crisp burritos is what most people are going to Taco Time for.
Again, no offense to Jackie, but this to me, this indicates a person who did not necessarily grow up eating a taco.
Okay, so that is a tell. That's what I was wondering.
I could see Jackie ordering a habanero burrito like a real noob.
Luke, what if it's not that Jackie's not from here, but grew up in a different era? What if Jackie's like, a young Go Gang journalist who's in their like early 20s, and that for them...
That would not explain to me this blind spot that is Taco Time.
Okay, what if Luke's just wrong?
I don't want to even consider that universe.
I mean, it's in the
you're also implying,
young gray lady here.
You're also implying that Camaro Kev and P. Fletch and Ann
What I'm saying is people in their 40s who grew up eating Taco Time have very, very specific opinions on this matter, and I am in that camp. Now, I could be wrong, but I feel like and you're right, John. Maybe the younger generation. I mean, I trained my daughter well, is what I'm going to say. Okay,
so it's a
Adelaide
issue.
knows her way around a Taco Time order, and I'm proud of that. It's literally some of the only good parenting I did. So I stand by that. Hey, speaking of good parenting, we're going to talk to my mom coming up here in just a few moments, which is going to be exciting. But first,
thank you for being a 10.
we want to remind everyone that this is, of course, the TBTL-a-Thon 15, and we are raising money for the show. We are basically doing our once-a-year reminder that this thing only exists because of your donations. And I want to say, first of all, thank you so much to everyone who's already donated. Lots of people supporting the show. Lots of people supporting the show with really generous gifts. Thank you very, very much. John, can you remind us of what is available for people as a thank you?
Absolutely. So number one, everyone who gives gets the bracelet made of beads, not bees.
Okay.
That's everyone.
And a handmade bracelet.
Handmade, that we're going to hand make eventually.
Yes.
I mean, we're almost there. We just have like 1,600
Yeah,
more
we're
to
an
do.
eighth of the way there.
Yeah, we're doing great on Thursday. So at the $10 a month or $120 one time, again, these are available if you give a one-time gift as well, of course.
We do accept Klarna if you want to make payments.
What is that?
Yeah,
you don't know Klarna?
I have no
No,
idea.
is that something on the Taco Time menu?
No, Klarna is, you'll start seeing references to it. Klarna is some kind of financial instrument that when you buy a lot of stuff on Instagram, they will offer you Klarna payments, which is, it's basically reverse layaway. I mean, it's a credit card of some kind, but it's very ingrained in the Instagram culture. And this is why I'm such a hit with the youth, because I drop Klarna references.
Yeah.
They know what that is.
Well, we definitely accept monthly donations, which is like layaway, but I don't think Klarna specifically.
No,
so
we don't.
please-
That was a joke.
Yes,
you can
thank
rent
you.
to
So-
own TBTL.
Right. So we have the pennant at the $10 a month club. I keep saying club. At $15 a month donation level, you get the TBTL ball cap, which we're really excited for, the Junior Slugger ball cap. At $25 a month, it's the TBTL Junior Sluggers tee with the number 10 and Junior Sluggers on the back. Bumping up from there to $50 a month, you're a dazzling donor where at that level you get all the thank you gifts. That's the only level where you get everything. Well, not that and above, I should say. And you also get your customized dazzling donor message on air. And then if you're super generous and have it within you, it's within your budget. You're not going broke to support TBTL, and you want to do $100 a month, you get the dazzling perks plus the special video message, which I think we confirmed yesterday will be both of you guys recording
yes,
messages.
can
Arm
confirm.
wrestling, yes.
At the burned out husk of the Biodome Taco Time.
That's right.
That's where we're going to film all of these videos as a protest of the Chipotle that's moving in.
I'm going to be really happy eating my chicken burrito, and you're going to be
Yes.
just like really angry
I'm
at me
gonna
for
be-
enjoying it.
I'm going to be screaming to the heavens.
Yes.
Can I just like a maintenance thing? I
Yes.
just want to throw us out there too. Some folks have been doing this right. If in the last year you've moved, please email me, John, Jon, at tbtl.net, your new address so we can make sure to get you your thank you gifts when the time comes. Don't want anyone to miss out. And so if you moved or if anything's changed or if you have any questions about your donation, of course, always feel free to reach out to me.
All right.
John at tbtl.net. And I just want to say one thing here.
Please.
First of all, okay, I want to say a couple things.
Okay.
Thank you to everybody who has been
Seriously.
donating. It's been, it's always so encouraging and humbling and various other emotions that are hard for me to put a word onto when I see the tens of listeners coming out to support this thing that we do and to support each other and the community that has been built around this podcast. Thank you so much. One thing that also gives me sort of complicated feelings is when I see the folks who have already been so generous towards this show for so long going to the website and upping their donation level. We're asking you to do that, and it means so much to us, and so thank you for doing that. But I also would like to send a special message to the people who maybe have never given before, and I don't want to get specifically into numbers, but as I was thinking about the number of bracelets we were supposed to make last night, I was thinking that's a big number, and then I started comparing that number to our download numbers in my head. I was just musing, Luke, and without getting into all the numbers, I was like, oh, wait a second, so like maybe that's a fifth of the people who listen maybe donate to this show, and we're really grateful for that, but that's a big burden for a small number of listeners. And I'm wondering if there are listeners out there who've been listening for a while, and maybe you're a little bit more of a quieter listener, maybe you're in the shadows more, maybe you're not raising your hand on the Zoom calls or whatever, but you tune into TBTL, maybe even just a couple of times a week, although you're probably missing the good stuff if you're only doing it a couple of times a week. But and it hasn't occurred to you that, oh, we're talking to you too. We are talking to you too. And maybe you can just start with a small donation and just do something so that we don't have to like kind of have a small group of people carry all of the burden. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
You're so right, Andrew. And we want to try to move away from the business model where we have a relatively small number of people who are giving a relatively large amount. Yeah. Which we, again, appreciate. It's how we're able to do the show. But one of the things we noted at APM was we wanted to try to reverse the trend that was happening, which is we want to try to get to more and more people that are maybe donating smaller amounts, but it's spread across a wider group of folks. And we're still in that mode where we have a small number of super generous people. And again, thank you, like from the very bottom of our heart. We want to get as a show to the point where Andrew isn't wearing headphones that have NPR West etched into them, which he currently does. We want to be a show that can
These
afford.
were from a friend.
We want a show that can afford its own headphones that were not stolen from NPR.
I never
that's
even
all.
worked for
That's
NPR.
all. That's what we're trying to get to. John, looks like you want to say something.
So we actually this wasn't pre-planned, but we have somebody who is a first-time donor. Who wrote a really sweet comment, and so I just wanted to share that. So this is Kate in Boston, so I forgive you for being in Boston because you're a donor, Kate, so thank you very much.
You're saying that is a Yankees
situation.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't listen to him.
Yeah, ignore him.
But so Kate said, my little sister / TBTL baby usually donates as my birthday present, presumably to thank me for introducing her to your fabulous podcast. But this year, I'm putting my big girl pants on. So Kate is donating for sounds like for the first time, and yeah.
Nice.
That's very nice. And you mentioned yesterday that we got a nice note from somebody who started listening very recently because of our show that we do with Text Me Back.
That worked.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. None of our promotional things worked, but that actually worked. That's dope.
And now you're listening to TBTL, which really just means the world to us, and stepping up and helping keep the show going into the future. So thank you so much. Think of it as light as a feather, stiff as a board, right? Like
yes.
I think that's how that works. I've never actually done that before, but I think it's a lot of people can do a lot of heavy lifting.
It can have a seance.
It can have a seance. Think of it as a Ouija board. Wait, what?
Yes. I also, we talk so much about the community of tens, and when people donate and they write us the dazzling donor messages, they often talk about how sort of life-affirming it is to be part of this group of listeners of the show. And that's just like this lucky accident that's happened, which is, really starting with Jen Flash Andrews, who was really good at cultivating this community of listeners. And then at some point, it just sort of took on a life of its own, the Stens page and the card exchanges and the ways that everybody looks out for each other. And part of that community was a person named Karina Lynch, who listener and donor Christine wanted to let us know that we lost Karina this year, which was a really sad thing. Karina was at the 4,000th episode. I got a chance to say hi to her, and we just wanted to honor Karina and just sort of honor her memory, and also mention I'm learning from her husband Steve by way of Christine that one of the special facts about Karina was that she was not a very tall person. She was, in fact, about 5 feet tall. And so the running gag that they had was anytime she was near one of those signs that said, you must be this tall to go on the ride. There's like a picture that they sent us of her standing. I don't know if it's in Tivoli, Italy, or if it's just something that's Tivoli themed, or wherever that is, Switzerland. I don't know where Tivoli is. That's in the mountains, right, between Italy and Switzerland.
I'm not sure.
You guys did not do well in the geography being as kids.
No.
But there's a picture of Karina standing next to one of these "you must be this tall to go on this ride" thing. Anyway, we lost Karina this year, which is such a sad thing. But we wanted to honor her memory a little bit, and we wanted to just, give a shout out to the community of folks that's really grieving that and hurting. And that's, kind of part of this thing, right? Which is this group of folks that have all gotten together around this idea of TBTL, but have become friends in real life and look out for each other and sort of mourn for each other. There's like ups and downs in this life and this life that's now been created by TBTL. So we just wanted to say to Steve, we're so sorry for your loss, and to everybody else. Also wanted to give a shout out to our good friend Jen and her husband Chris. Jen is dealing with some health stuff as well. They're our friends out at Terramar in Bow, Washington. Jen, just wanted to let you know that we're sending you a bunch of love right now, and sending you all the positive vibes we can for what you've been going through, and we know that you're gonna make it through. So shout out to you as well. So yeah, that's part of life, right? I guess it's like when you get a community of people together, there, like I said, there's going to be the ups, and which is us talking about taco time. That would be one of the ups. That's one of the highlights of the week. And then there's the downside, which is health things and people leaving us. There's also the downside of my dad thinking that I'm calling him a racist, which he explained to me last night.
Oh, no.
He's not a fan of the Chinese bullshit conversation.
From Monday's show. Do you want to explain what the Chinese bullshit conversation was?
I do want to give some context for that because, first of all, I had no idea my dad was going to hear that, but then my mom tuned in, and then I think my dad overheard it in the background as my mom was listening to it.
Because your mom likes to listen to the TBTL-a-Thons.
My mom really enjoys listening to the show, and in particular shows where she might be mentioned or even might be on, which is this show coming up in a moment. We're going to give her a ring. But I was talking to her last night about her appearance, and then I heard my dad in the background just go, "Chinese bullshit." And my mom clarified that my dad did not particularly love that. Now, I want to just be clear that my dad is really and truly a person who harbors no ill will and doesn't have any bad takes. Like, he is really not a person who tends to have sort of stereotypes in his mind or makes off-color jokes or any of those things, which on some level would be understandable just based on the generational difference. Maybe older folks aren't getting every single memo about the different ways that we're talking about people and things and whatever. But that being said, my dad is really not that way, which I love. It's nice. We don't have to have awkward conversations where he says something and I'm kind of like, "Oh, we don't say that anymore, Dad." Like, that's really not the vibe. But he has been calling a lot of the things that he had to install in this studio, because they're kind of poorly made, because I didn't pay a lot for them, and they did, in fact, come from China. He's been calling those things Chinese bullshit. And
kind of mumbling and grumbling while installing a light fixture.
Yes,
or something.
It's become
Things aren't
shorthand for
lining
something
up
that's
right.
a cheapo product that I bought from China that is more difficult than it needs to be to install. But it's never, I promise, attached to a person or a particular group of people. It is purely about the wiring of various sconces that I've... In fact, I would call that sconce in the bathroom Chinese bullshit. Because it is not orange, even when you turn the light on.
When you turn the light on, it doesn't even let that much light through.
It fails on almost
barely a sconce.
every single thing you would like an orange sconce to be, which is orange and something that lets light through. It does neither of those.
When they say, "Oh, turn it on, the light will make it orange," that is not true. I just want to be here for you.
That's some Chinese bullshit.
It really is. Yes.
So, but Walter is not a racist, and I want to be very clear about that. I felt bad. I talked to him last night, and I said, "Would you like me to officially make a retraction on the air? Would you like me to clarify?" He said, "No, it's fine." But I ignored that, and I am officially
doing it anyway.
Clarifying. Now, many of you got an email today in your inbox from my mother, Susie Burbank. This We send out these emails during the TBTL-a-Thon week, kind of reminding you of some reasons maybe you should donate to the show. And I thought there's some interesting ideas that are raised in this email that my mom composed about reasons why you might listen to TBTL and reasons why you might support it. She says it's a fun, relaxing listen of two ordinary guys living ordinary lives. That hurts a little bit. I tend to think of our lives as hopefully being maybe one click up from ordinary. Maybe that's why people tune in.
I consider myself an extraordinary fellow.
Well, that might be pushing it just a little bit. Anyway, I thought we could call my mom.
Did you hear my story about Denny's?
Okay, legit, that is extraordinary. It is extraordinary that there was a place called Denny's that isn't the Denny's that the listeners are thinking of, and that your family started boycotting it because of a bawdy stand-up comedy show.
So weird. He might have been doing magic. Anyway, go ahead.
That would actually make more sense with the sort of like, making his pickle disappear or whatever was going on.
Man.
So I thought maybe we'd call my mom up and kind of just talk through this email with her. So we're going to do this on the fly. It is hit and miss calling my parents at their house because the cell service can sometimes be a little dodgy. So we're calling my mom. This is happening live on the air. Hopefully she is near her phone and going to answer it. If not, I've got a good 2 more hours of taco time talk I'd like to get into.
The sound of a ringing phone is very meditative. It's calming.
Hello?
Mother!
Hi, Luke.
Hi, can you hear us okay?
Yep.
You scared me there. You let
Been waiting for you.
You let that ring like 4 or 5 times. I thought maybe you weren't near your phone.
Well, I was, and then I just went in the house for a second.
Oh, okay.
The phone was outside.
Oh, sure. So you left your phone at the critical moment when we were going to call you.
Okay. Hi, Susie.
Well, I was waiting since like 10 o'clock.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said 10:30.
I know you said 10:30, but...
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Mom, I want to make sure, can you hear Andrew and John as well?
Hi, Susie. How you doing?
Hey, Susie.
Yeah, hi, guys.
Mom, I want to say thank you for writing this email. It was very, very compelling. I think that it's maybe the best email of the week so far.
That's fine. No problem. I enjoyed it.
Now, I did want to go through some of the things. So there are 5 points that are listed in this email as reasons why people should enjoy the show and also should maybe donate. And point number 2 is honesty rules, ! When Luke or Andrew talk openly about their day-to-day lives with their many foibles. Okay, many foibles, Mom? That hurts.
How about with a few foibles?
Okay, I would have taken few. Listeners can say, yep, been there, done that. There's a level ground here. No highfalutin jargon. So you think that the jargon on the show is not highfalutin?
It is not highfalutin.
That surprises me. I thought I had some highfalutin.
Andrew has been trying to be highfalutin.
Highfalutin means like snobby.
Oh.
Where did that come from? Is that I know we grew up saying highfalutin in our house. Is that from like a movie or TV show that we saw, or is that just something that you started saying at some point?
It's just it's like an old school term for somebody who is like talking above you.
Which
you know what I mean? Like they're not using common language. They're trying to impress you with their extra vocabulary or something like that. You know, like they're more educated vocabulary, or they talk above. I don't know how else to put that.
Yeah. The other thing that you say here, Mom, is point number 3. You may just come away feeling better about yourself when listening to them, as long as your name is not Walt Burbank, because he was not happy with the Chinese bullshit conversation on Monday. How's he doing with that whole thing?
No, he wasn't unhappy about it. He actually went into the kitchen when I was listening to you on the phone, TBTL, and he went into the kitchen, so he didn't hear all the really nice things you said about him previous to that.
Yeah.
He heard a little bit, but I was like, I understood that first you prefaced it with really very nice things.
So you clarified that with him, because I want to make sure he doesn't think that I'm like talking smack about him on the show.
No. He just said that you said Chinese bullshit way too many times.
He said it way too many times. He never stopped muttering it when he was working here.
Hey, Susie, let me ask you a question. I can't remember if this has come up on the show recently or if it's just a notion I have. But, Luke talks about growing up. I mean, you guys were not allowed to swear. I don't think that you were exposed to much like kind of, language like that. Has Walt been swearing more as he gets older, or are you guys just more comfortable doing it around Luke now that he's an adult?
Oh, definitely more as he gets older.
Really?
Yeah, but I've told Luke before that for years and years, if he's working in the shop on some kind of like sign project or something that's a little difficult, this goes way back, he usually kind of loses himself in it and gets frustrated, and he may be swearing, but he doesn't swear in normal, day-to-day talk.
This is my theory, Mom.
Just when he's frustrated.
My theory is, Dad is such a, generally speaking, he's such an agreeable, easygoing guy that
he
has
lets it all out.
Yeah, he has a lot of anger building up. Whereas you and I just express our anger all the time, so we have no anger building up, so we don't have to. And Mom,
speaking of that, I was going to say that I was feeling bad about your Uncle Chuck the other day. And
Why?
He was here for, Sam and Ashley's, celebration.
Yeah.
I call it celebration because they were already married.
Right.
But back, in October a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking he was sick when he came, him and, your Aunt Cass.
Yeah.
And he was so hard to be around, but he was sick. And then I just met him right where he was. And I gave him a lot of flack. Kind of like, come on now, you're here for the wedding. I really didn't have compassion for him.
Why was he being grumpy, Susie?
What's that?
Was he being grumpy? Is that what you mean? With being difficult?
So grumpy, grumpy to a whole new level.
Okay.
And my brother Chuck and me are a lot alike. So, like Luke was just saying, we kind of and Luke's of course like me. You just let it all out.
Yeah.
And then you kind of feel like, ooh, maybe I went a little too far.
Right.
So that situation with your Uncle Chuck, Luke, I felt like, you know what? I owe him even a further apology because we sort of brushed over it.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while. But I said, I am so sorry. You were sick, and I needed to have way more understanding and compassion on you. And, he said, yeah.
His response was yes, you should have had more compassion for me.
The response was, Sue, you already apologized, but thanks. But it just felt to me that, that's kind of what we were talking about over the 4th. You need to show your best self to people. Yeah. Even if they're kind of putting you out,
Yeah. So you and Uncle Chuck, though, it sounds like you guys have recently kind of repaired things, and you guys are in a really good place now, which I'm always glad to hear because Uncle Chuck is
we're even better
uncle.
off.
Oh,
yeah.
Good. Speaking of Uncle Chuck, Mom.
But anyway, I'm just saying I'm really seeing the need to, just kind of chill a little bit and not just kind of meet people at the level of their anger. Even your dad, if he's swearing and stuff, he's trying to work on something. My first thought is, get a grip. It's not the end of the world. But instead, I just kind of I back away. I just go in another spot, go in the house or something and just let him work it out.
Yeah.
I think even at your house, we were doing that in the ADU,
Uh-huh.
Time for us to split.
Yeah. You and I were hiding out in the main house with Becca, letting Dad just do his thing in the ADU and making Hey Dummies videos.
Because we knew he would come to, completion and it would work.
Yeah.
But it's just the process.
Absolutely. Hey, Mom, speaking of Uncle Chuck and speaking of your origin story, I thought this would be a good time to make an announcement about the show and about something that we have coming up. I have even a special little sound effect here. We are officially announcing the next TBTL live show, September 28th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Mark your calendars. Woo-hoo! Saturday the 28th, Philly, PA, TBTL live. And Mom, is it true that you are actually going to be there?
I'm coming for the occasion.
Nice.
That
Absolutely.
is really exciting for me and for the listeners. Now, you don't need any excuse to get back to Philly because you love it there and have lots of friends and family,
course.
but this is going to be really great. You and Dad are going
your
to be...
dad's coming too, though.
Yeah, right. Well, you know.
So,
We'll,
but I mean, I think that's cool, you know, that your dad wants to jump on board too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when I go back to Philly to visit, it's about, you know, my sisters, my friends, and, you know, your dad kind of says, okay, do your thing, go ahead. But this time he's like, no, I want to come.
Well, I want to...
You know, because you're going to be there in TBTL.
I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys, and I'm looking forward to hanging out with all the listeners. We are not saying today what the actual venue is yet. We're going to be making that announcement
once the
later
tickets are
this
available.
Week. And I think that'll be next week that we'll make that announcement. So I want to be very careful here, but I will say this. Where we are holding this event, we might want to keep the swearing down.
Yes.
And so if we could get that message to Walter
that
we don't want to let a lot of foul language
no.
involved in this particular TBTL meetup.
Yeah, no, it's a Chinese bullshit-free zone where we're going to be having the show.
Yeah,
But
we don't want the mouth of sailors floating around.
Exactly.
You know? Thank you.
Thank you, Mom.
That's a great expression.
Mom, if you can kind of ride herd on that would be sort of great. Also, I kind of have... I sort of go back and forth on if I think that we want to try to get the extended family out to this thing or not. By that I mean like Uncle Chuck and Aunt Kath and the crew, because you know some of them came to see me do Wait at the Mann Center, and that was like pretty cool, right? Because that's like a big venue and there's thousands of people. It's a whole thing. I felt like that was me operating at my coolest. This is me operating at my weirdest. This is more like this little podcast that we do with this like great group of fans, but it's a smaller group of people. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure if Aunt Kathy and Uncle Chuck will really get it. So like, I'm wondering.
I understand that.
Maybe, I don't know. What do you think? Should we invite them or not?
I think we could invite them, but if they, I mean, your Aunt Cap didn't even come to Wait.
Oh yeah. Well, screw her. She's off the list.
I mean, she's welcome to buy a ticket.
It's hard for her to get around and get herself settled in a crowd, you know.
Yeah,
Surely, I would think invite them.
Okay.
But they may not get it. You're right. They may be like, "What?"
Yeah, it's a very.
It's not like the finished Wait, don't tell me. And even Wait can be boring at times. So you know what I'm saying?
Wow. What if I use more highfalutin language? Maybe that'll connect with them better.
Mom, you have some of the hottest takes of anyone I know. The other day when my mom was here, she said, "Do you know Mo Rocca?" And I said, "Yes." She goes, "Not a fan." Not a fan. And you're not a fan because you think he was too understated on Celebrity Jeopardy, but you also think that other celebrities were too overstated on Celebrity Jeopardy. What is the right amount of excitement when someone is on Celebrity Jeopardy?
Celebrity Jeopardy.
Well, didn't you?
Probably the gal that you know, she was in SNL, and then she was the girlfriend of Spence in King of Queens, whatever her name is.
Wait, I was going to say Kate
the King
McKinnon,
of Queens reference lost me.
Yeah,
not Leah Remini.
Yeah, you know, she's really kind of like not really very attractive, but she's hilarious.
Wow.
She was really good on
Hold
it.
on, I'm going to look up the King of Queens
Yeah,
cast.
that's what I'm
here.
doing.
Which season? Because now I want to remind everyone of one of the.
Well, she was Spence's girlfriend that he. Oh gosh, she was so.
Was she on
funny
Mad
in
TV?
it.
Yeah, it's Nicole something, right?
Sullivan.
Nicole Sullivan
I
from
think
Mad.
so.
She was on Mad TV, Mom. She was not on SNL.
Yeah,
but-
she I think she got her start on SNL.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll agree to
Yeah,
agree
Saturday
on
Night
that.
Live, so.
By the way,
anyway,
Mom.
she is hilarious, but she was great on it because she wasn't like all like the other celebrity, quote unquote, was a blonde, and she was just like getting so mad and like yelling at Ken Jennings, you know, wait a minute, I almost said that, you know, it's just like, get a grip. You can't almost say it, you know, and that kind of stuff. She was a little bit hard to take, but this other one was just like, she was really like surprised that she did so well, and then also really like, you know, sort of like grateful that she did so well.
But you
know?
thought that Mo Rocca
She had a
was.
good attitude,
You thought
that's
Mo
all.
Rocca was too understated.
Very understated. It's almost like I could fall asleep with his talking. You know, it's just kind of like, you know, just not a bit animated.
I'll tell
Maybe
him.
it was just. It doesn't matter. That might be who he is, and it's all right. You know. In my book, he might be a 7, not a 10.
Do you think, Mom, that you just were suspicious of the whole thing because you know that I will never be a big enough celebrity to be on Celebrity Jeopardy?
I'll tell you what I don't like about Celebrity Jeopardy. The questions are really toned down. Dumbed down is the word I want to say.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, come on, you got to know that. And it's like, here's these celebrities that are like the superstars of life, and they're not all that smart. It really surprises me.
Yeah. I have a newfound
Like
respect.
when you see somebody in regular Jeopardy, they're man, oh man. I mean, even your Elena.
Yeah.
She did really well.
She did. She almost won.
In Jeopardy.
Yeah. That was
I
impressive.
know, and she's smart.
She sure is.
A lot smarter than these celebrities.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's just like they dumb it down for the celebrities.
Well, I have a whole newfound
I guess
respect
their
for the
job is
thing.
just
Mom,
a
can we
regular
kill her
job.
microphone? Just turn. I was going to say, Mom, I have a newfound respect for how hard that show is from doing that story about Ken Jennings and being on the set. Like, because, you watch it home. I watch it at home sometimes, and I'm just yelling the answers. And it's so low pressure if I'm on my couch, but being there in the room and watching, I'm amazed that anyone can do it at all. It's so much pressure. It's crazy.
And they make Celebrity Jeopardy easier because it's for charity, right? Like they want them to win money, right? Isn't that
right? Exactly. So they're not going to make it so that they can't answer the right answers.
It is always
all for
sad
charity.
when
So
they're
that's
like
probably the reason.
When somebody like bets all their money at the end and they lose, and it's like, well, that's not going to children burn victims. Sorry.
Right.
It's like a little bit.
No, they still get. I think they get $50,000 or something like that.
I see.
Yeah, they get a certain amount just for the charity,
Mm-hmm.
and if they win, then they get more, of course. But yeah, so yeah, I didn't think about that, Andrew. It's definitely because they don't want them to not
That was
win for
John,
charity,
but
so they
the
make
point
them
stands.
cheer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, John.
Well, listen, Mama. We've got to go because we're going to do the birthday messages here, which includes our Lizzie, my sister Liz,
cool.
actual birthday today. But I just wanted to say thank you very much.
45, isn't that amazing?
She's 45.
45.
Wow.
3 years younger than you.
Right.
But
right.
still, 45. Yeah, she's a beautiful 45, is she not?
Sure is. Not like the lady from Mad TV. She's a very beautiful 45. Mom, thank you for writing this email, and thanks for being like last year. Thanks to you and Dad for hosting us, and thanks for just being who you are, and also for being engaged with the Tens. I know they love hearing from you and seeing you on the Facebook page and all that, and hearing you on the show. So, and thank you for basically informing my entire personality and way of being in the world, because it's all 100% from you.
You're so welcome.
All right, Mom. Love you.
Okay, have a great rest of your day,
All right,
guys.
I'll see you in Philly.
Okay, well, sooner than that, I'm
Maybe.
hoping.
I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Bye, Mom. Love
Bye,
you.
Susie.
Okay, bye-bye.
That was great.
My mom is a one of a kind. I'll tell you that much.
She's got opinions.
She sure does. She sure does. Should we do some Blur's Days?
I think we should.
There's a right way to rock. Ooh, are we using this year?
I wasn't supposed to do it.
Talk over it. Talk
Wait,
over
no,
it.
no,
Make some noise. Make some noise.
Nobody heard anything. I forgot. That'll get us literally playing that will get us pulled from. Do you guys just want to sing
Let's just use this.
Thank you for being a 10.
And then this
we have
is
the rights,
okay.
thanks to listener Brian, to use
I
that.
think once I get into this part, we can talk. It's just that beginning part where they're singing about a right way to rock.
Oh, that's the part that sort of like throws up a red flag, throws up a spotlight.
Yeah, I don't think the algorithm recognizes this sound. Although it is also Tim Heidecker, which did you see he's got a new album coming out?
He
again?
does.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything off of it yet. But
wow.
Let's do some Blur's Days
Okay.
here. Would you like to do a more official Blur's Day wish
I would.
to your sister?
Happy Blur's Day to my dear sister Elizabeth. I don't think anyone's called her Elizabeth in a long time. My sister Liz. It's her birthday day. I just learned she's 45.
Nice. Happy Blur's Day, Liz.
I would have guessed like 20-something because I don't keep track of these kinds of things. And also my little sister being 45 indicates that I am much older than that. And I don't like to think about that. So anyway.
So explain that.
Happy Blur's Day, Liz.
Luke, do you remember, and I don't know if you do, we did a Zoom call on Monday night with a bunch of listeners, and one of them, Ben, was a brand new dad.
Yes.
And we met an 11-hour-old baby.
Who's now named what, John? Jonah.
Well, Ben's brother, I believe Matthew, is also a listener to this very podcast. And Matthew says, I'd like to wish a happy Blur's Day to my TBTL grandson, nephew, and the previously unnamed baby from Monday's craft night, now known as Judah Miles. Welcome. What?
Judah? Have you been saying the wrong name this whole time?
What were you saying?
I said I thought it was Jonah.
Oh, that's pretty close.
I got Judah Miles here.
I'll go with that.
I could go back to
Matthew.
I'm guessing the baby. So wait a second. You said because you said Jonah back on the first time, and I said don't let him near a whale.
You guys are making me nervous here. I need to go back to. Do I have to go to my email? I mean, I copy and pasted this. I don't think I would have changed the name.
What I'm going to say is whatever we've been calling this baby is the baby's new name.
Yeah, Targus.
Your baby's new name is Targus. I mean, Jonah, Judah.
Yeah, no.
Tomato,
both
tomato.
Biblical, they're similar.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think that we got it right here. Let's. I mean, unless Matthew's wrong, but we got Judah Miles. Welcome to the world, little guy. Much love from Uncle Matt.
All right.
If Matthew is wrong, I'll just say it's probably autocorrect. We don't want to throw the uncle under the bus here. That's probably
if
autocorrect.
Matthew's wrong, John is his new uncle.
Legally.
But seriously.
Nikki in Worcester says, happy birthday. This is Worcester, Ohio, I believe, spelled with two O's the proper way. Happy birthday to my dear friend and fellow 10, Caitlin in Idaho. I'm looking forward to another wine trip with you next year. But until then, I hope you have a wine and fun-filled birthday.
Nice.
Miss you much. Happy Blur's Day, Caitlin. Annie in Seattle says, I want to wish Megan and Edmonds a very happy Blur's Day. I hope your day is amazing in every way. Thank you for being a 10 and a friend. Red Robin and Husky Helmet Car forever.
Thank you for being a 10.
I love that Husky helmet car. I'm not somebody, I don't consider myself like a Huskies fan necessarily. I'm not against them. But I'm not I don't have a huge rooting interest there until I see that helmet car driving around the sidelines in the end zone. I'm like, I could get into this.
Yeah. With the dog in it. Which, by the way, my friend Todd.
Dubs?
My friend Todd's daughter is one of the handlers for Dubs.
Oh, really?
And I feel like I'm adjacent to a celebrity.
I have been in the presence of Dubs, but I don't believe I've ever petted Dubs.
When I was a kid, the Husky mascot dog was always named Sun Dodger. And they got onto Sun Dodger 4 or something.
I think they're on Dubs 3 or 4 now, too. Paul says, happy birthday to Craig. Craig turned 50. Did I say Craig funny? Craig?
No,
Craig.
you said it right.
Should it rhyme with Greg?
Yes.
Okay, and I was saying Craig.
Wow.
No, you're saying it right.
Okay, anyway, this is from Paul, not me anyway. Happy birthday to Craig. Craig turned 55 on July 5th, and we celebrated on the 4th of July.
The name that you would probably say with your Ohio accent most noticeably would be if somebody was named Hal.
Hal.
That's
Hal.
That's
weird.
different.
Hal.
Hal.
Craig. Craig and Hal went down to the river. Jennifer, a.k.a. Mayor Gregerson.
Oh,
my
yeah,
mayor.
Sure, yeah.
Got it.
Don't blame me. I voted for Gregerson.
Oh no, this is the one. I forgot about this. I'm checking my phone here because I wanted to see if Genevieve texted me back. I asked a favor from Genevieve. She has not gotten back to me to help me with this because Genevieve has been learning French for the past several years now, and I wanted to see if she could help me out with this. She decided to ignore my text message, my plea for help, because Jennifer says, "Happy birthday to my partner Paul."
Oh, sure, Paul. We know Paul.
Denver.
Yeah, we know Paul.
Paul for a long time now. He just earned his American citizenship on the 4th of July.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I saw that on Instagram. That was great. He's a great cat dad and gardener. Joyeux anniversaire.
Are you okay over there?
I am having
Joya anniversaire, like Joya Noel, like
so
happy.
This is the
joyous?
pronouncer that I'm ignoring how it's actually spelled in French, and I'm going with the pronouncer that Jennifer sent, which is JZ dash the word Y, WHY dash use, as if you're in Philly and you're saying use come over here.
Are you just going down to Pat's and Gino's to get a steak?
Yes, exactly.
I'm just trying to match your energy.
Just why use anniversaire?
I would say joyeux anniversaire. I got in trouble today, by the way. Speaking of
that might be a typo.
Speaking of Fern languages, Becca's been doing Italian on Duolingo because we were going to be going to Italy this summer, and she sent me a message in the morning that was, kind of like a in Italian, some nice little thing. Buongiorno, ragazzo mio. And I responded, hola, amigo. And that did not go over well because it's the wrong language and also put her in the friend zone.
Wait, what?
Because amigo is friend, and also it's male friend.
Sure, the amigo.
There was a lot wrong with that. I was trying to be funny, but it was a swing and a miss.
Zona amigo.
It was a bit of
Zona amiga. Do you know that?
Zona de amigo.
So Vives and I, when we were down in Mexico, we were staying in an area called Zona Romantico, or Zona Romantica, or whatever. And a friend who was recommending it before we booked our trip suggested that, and Genevieve did look at me and she said, "Do they have a Zona amigo?"
Do they have a Zona Cabeza Headacho Tonito?
Anyway, the point is, happy birthday, Paul, and congratulations.
Yes. Wee. Ooh la la.
Jennifer says, I'd like to give a shout out to my IRL mommy, Judy. I hope this year brings you all things good. Let the fun begin. Love, Jennifer, your TBTL daddy.
Nice.
Look at that. An IRL mommy of a TBTL daddy. Let's see here. And finally, this is our friend David in Vermont of the Smittens.
Oh, sure. We know them.
I should say. David says, normally I wouldn't send a Blursdays Day message for myself. However, this Sunday I turn 49, crossing the Wilford Brimley line.
Oh, gosh.
The upside is everyone will be shocked and amazed when I do a cannonball into a pool. I'm afraid I just blurs myself. And that's
David is a very
David.
young 49.
He really
though.
is. I'm very shocked to hear that he's a bit
David,
older than me.
you don't look. I mean, I don't want to frame things this way. I don't want to pull a Susie, that one not very attractive woman from SNL.
Yes, right.
But I would say, David, you look very, very good for your age.
Andrew, can I tack on one more blurs?
I think we're about wrapped up here.
We're kind of
sorry,
out of
the
time
music
here.
stopped.
Sorry.
But this one's important because it's my mother-in-law's birthday's in a few days.
Oh, wow.
Patty, and I say that more for her birthday, but also because earlier this week, she increased her donation to a dazzling donor.
Whoa!
So I feel, which is so embarrassing, and I feel so. I text her immediately to
Thank you for being a 10.
to shame her. But happy birthday to Patty.
Thanks,
Certainly.
Patty.
Happy Blur's Day, Patty, and thank you so much for supporting the show.
Appreciate you very much. And thank you to all of the people who've been supporting TBTL this week. We are in the I guess, 8th inning of this whole thing, right? Because it's the penultimate day. Tomorrow will be the last day where we're doing this. Although I'm guessing that we're going to leave things open through the weekend on TBTL.net.
Yeah, maybe a little bit into next week.
Yeah, give
maybe
people
get some
a chance.
stragglers.
Yeah. But again, a huge thanks to everybody who's been supporting us so far this week, and to whoever is spam calling me. Whoever gave my phone number to the spam people, I want to thank you for that too, because it's just been a joyful experience for me to get to have hundreds of calls from the area code that my phone is from.
Thank you for being a spam.
Thank you for being a 10.
All right, that's going to wrap it up. By the way, we took 0 phone calls today. We made one phone call. We accepted 0 calls. Maybe we'll try to up that tomorrow. But anyway, thanks again for spending this time with us. We will be back here tomorrow with more Imaginary Radio for you. In the meantime, have a great Thursday. Take care of yourselves. And please remember, no mountain too tall.
And good luck to all.
Thank you for being a 10.
Power out.